Welcome to the Global UFO channel. Firstly, I greet all of you who have found this channel. Today we have an interesting topic. This is a topic everyone has heard about. You watched more or less everything that could be seen on this topic, and my goal is not to repeat what many others have already said, such as the bare facts of where this base is located, when it is built, its purpose, the technologies evolved, blah blah blah. But again, since this is the Global UFO channel, we have to repeat some details for those viewers who may not know. Who is Bob Lazar, or in full Robert Scot Lazar? The man who claims to have worked at a facility called S4 within Area 51 at Nevada. In one of the previous videos, we gained insight into the secrets of our US Navy thanks to the hacker Gary McKinnon. And in this video we have fascinating claims from a man who worked directly at Area 51. At least that's what he claims. At 1989, a man named Bob Lazar contacted a television station in Las Vegas and claimed to have worked as a physicist on a top secret project called Galileo, which involved the study of extraterrestrial and engineering technology. The research was conducted as an underground base called S4 located 16 kilometers south of the Area 51. He claimed to have worked on technology hundreds of years more advanced than today's modern technology. Since he went public with this story, he received numerous threats, and at one point he kept even shot by an unknown assailant. Television journalist George Knapp became interested in the story and began seeking more information, immediately running into a massive problem. Area S4 is in a restricted area, and it is impossible for someone outside the authorities to directly visit this place to confirm or deny Lazar's story. His background was challenging to verify, since he claimed that the government has erased all records of his employment at Los Alamos laboratories, his college degree, and even his birth records in the hospital. I know it sounds crazy, but the story gets even crazier. Bob Lazar claimed to have worked at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, but there is no record of his employment. However, the journalist continued digging and found his name appearing in an old telephone directory of scientists from Los Alamos. He even found an old edition of the Los Alamos Monitor magazine where a picture of Bob Lazar appeared, and former employees confirmed knowing the man. These are truly bizarre pieces of information from an area of a real American secrecy. The US government and intelligence agencies tried to erase this man as if he never existed. Nothing should really surprise us in this story. Bob Lazar worked in Area S4 between December 12, 1988 and April 4, 1989. During that period, he claimed to have had access to highly classified information. He also alleges that he saw documents and the autopsy of extraterrestrials. The main purpose of his work was what's known as a reverse engineering, specifically the reverse engineering of crashed alien spacecraft. According to his claims, there were 9 different types of spacecraft hidden in hangars deep underground. He worked on flying saucers. It always sounds funny to say that word, saucer, but if everyone calls them that, then so will I, because let's be realistic, they look like saucers. So he worked on spacecraft with diameter ranging from 9 to 12 meters, where the consoles and seats were very small, almost like they were made for children. He was told that the aliens came from the 4th planet of the binary star system Zeta Reticuli. As for the appearance of this extraterrestrial race and their agenda, we will discuss that in a future video because we have a considerable number of witnesses about them. Lazar in an interview stated that the alien spacecraft operated on the principle of amplifying gravitational waves using a reactor that used element 115 as a fuel. This element cannot be synthesized on Earth. But wait, is that real? Do we have element 115? 15 years later? That is a topic for another video. That element is supposed to be the source of gravity, and the wave it generates enhances the distortion for space and time travel. This type of propulsion enables the invisibility of the flight themselves. As I understand the working principle, it's not invisible as portrayed in movies using some device, but rather a byproduct of the propulsion itself, which distorts space and time. The spacecraft does not move linearly. It can warp space and cover vast distance in a fraction of a second. This is well explained in the movie Interstellar, especially in the explanation of how wormholes work. If you haven't watched that film, I highly recommend it. The operation of this spacecraft contradicts Einstein's rule that nothing can travel faster than light. If Bob Lazar's claims are true, they represent one of the most influential and bizarre operations of the United States government. Before forming your own opinion, take a look at the part of the interview. This man is truly intriguing, and who knows, maybe all of this is true, no matter how bizarre it sounds.
The American government denies that this place even exists. But this Russian satellite photo tells a different story, showing huge hangars and an enormous runway. The place is Area 51 in the Nevada desert. It was built in the 1950s to test top-secret aircraft. The stealth fighter was developed here. Security's tight inside and outside the base. American scientist Robert Lazar claimed he worked in the highest security section called S4.
The security was unbelievably oppressive. There was a security guard everywhere following you all the time. There was never any free discussion allowed, which is the basis of science.
Recently, Lazar caused a sensation when he revealed that he'd been ordered to investigate the propulsion systems of captured alien spacecraft.
My work involved the back engineering of an extraterrestrial craft, specifically the propulsion and power source. The UFOs are very typical. As far as a typical UFO is, it's two inverted dishes, two inverted pie plates, if you wish, and with a hump on the top. Metallic looking, no wings, no fins, no visible propulsion source. Inside they're very sparse. If you come in the main entryway, you'll see 3 seats, the central reactor and waveguide that goes to the ceiling, the 3 gravity amplifiers surrounding it, and you'll really see just about nothing else.
The authorities immediately denied his claims, and now he says they've tried to erase his identity from all official records. George Knapp is a well-respected investigative reporter with KLAS-TV. He broke the story, including the claim that Lazar worked at Los Alamos in New Mexico, where the atomic bomb was developed.
The lab denied any knowledge of his existence, denied that he'd ever worked there. We came back with a phone book from the lab that shows Bob's name in it, that he was, in fact, there. They still denied any knowledge that he had ever worked there. I asked Bob if he'd be willing to take a polygraph test, and he didn't hesitate. The polygraph examiner, after conducting a series of 4 different tests, concluded that Bob is telling the truth about what he saw out there, about working at the base, about seeing the flying saucers, about working on anti-gravity propulsion systems, telling the truth. I had a former employee quiz him for a period of 2 hours about simple things, not where are the flying saucers stored, but where's the cafeteria? How do you pay for your meal? What's it look like inside? Those sorts of things, and that employee is convinced that Bob really was out there.
Were you threatened?
I was threatened, and my wife's life was threatened also.
And why do you think that those threats were not carried out?
Probably because that I went public.
How did these craft get into the hands of the US government?
I really have no idea how the craft got there. I don't believe there were crashes because the craft weren't damaged, and that's about all that I can say.
How do you know, though, that these were extraterrestrial craft?
First of all, we were back engineering the technology, which means we were taking a finished product and trying to figure out how it was originally designed and developed. Second of all, the technology that we're dealing with doesn't exist.
Did you ever see them fly?
They were frequently tested. They were tested normally on Wednesday nights when the traffic was lowest in the area. I saw one test close up and several tests at a distance of about 15 miles.
Certainly the American military have been testing saucer-shaped craft. This top-secret research film from the 60s has just come to light. But even after nearly 30 years, the security services still refuse to talk about it. More recently, work on so-called black projects has been carried out at Area 51, including the stealth aircraft and Strategic Defense Initiative weapons to be used in outer space. But were they only developed to protect America against earthly enemies? Or was there a more urgent purpose behind President Reagan's Star Wars project?
Perhaps we need...
And tell me honestly in the comments, what do you think about all of this? Unfortunately, I do not have a time to make a video that would cover all the information about this case, and with this story we are just scratching the surface of the secrets that are hidden from us, because there are dozens, if not hundreds of people who have worked for American agencies and come forward with their stories. Are all these people lying? Well, some of them surely are, but all of them lying? The claims of all these people, the US administration and the media, that ridicule. So, it is certainly not some sinister CIA plan that some might always think of in such cases. There is a massive number of such stories, and I hope to cover them over time. If you enjoyed these topics and stories and want more, please do support the channel by hitting the subscribe link. See you next Sunday. Goodbye.